is a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer. Okay? You got to go with Neville and Stephen Amell. You're not going to bring Stephen Amell in here, pay him a lot of money to compete in this one match, this one-off deal, just to have him lose. Nope. You got to have him go over, and there's no doubt in my mind he's probably going to get the pinfall on Stardust to end this thing once and for all. So, that's the way I look at it. That's the way I look at it. I mean, yes, this matchup, depending whether it was going to be singles or tag, was in question after Cody's dad, Dusty Rhodes, passed away, but now it's back on. Because obviously WWE saw that they had something there and they needed to run with it, and that's what they're doing. But it's only a one-time deal, so I would expect Neville and Stephen Amell to get the win here. And again, this is a big pay-per-view debut for Neville. He's debuted on pay-per-views before, but this is one of the big four. So just like with Owen, Cesaro, and the NXT Divas, this is a big moment for him and for him to really skyrocket his stock, even if he doesn't get the pinfall on not doing the match. It's a great way for him to skyrocket to that next level. Well, at least we hope he can. Then we have a Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Championship match for the WWE Tag Team titles. We have the Primetime Players, Los Matadores, Lucha Dragons, and the New Day. So the question is, who gets the champion? So the question is, how's this going to go down? It's a fatal 4-way. It's not elimination. It's one pinfall submission only. So who goes over? Who doesn't? Who goes over? Who doesn't? Hold on for a second. Alright, just checking something, that's all. But like I said, who goes over, who doesn't? And that is a big question. Primetime Players are very charismatic. Fans are behind them, even though it may not look like it at times. But then you have the New Day, who, believe it or not, has gotten over has gotten over in their heel persona. Basically, they've gotten over as these positive Kurt Angle-like heels. So you got that option to give them the belts, or give them back the belts, or you go in a direction and give two teams that have not had an opportunity to be champions yet, in Los Matadores and Lucha Dragons, and see where you can go with that. And again, this is another toss-up. Who ends up walking out with the WWE Tag Team titles? So, do you keep them with the Primetime Players? Or because this is SummerSlam, one of your big fours, do you give it back to either the New Day, or do you give someone like Los Matadores or the Lucha Dragons the first run as champions? To me, if you were to go with Los Matadores, I think that would be great, especially from a story perspective, because I've always looked at it like this. I've always looked at it like this. You give Los Matadores this opportunity to become tag team champions, and I've always pictured that the moment they win those belts is the moment you kind of get maybe a heel turn. You have them get rid of El Torito, you have them unmask and reveal themselves, obviously to everybody that's already known it, as I can't even think of the name now. You had them, I know one's Primo. I know one of them is Primo, hold on. Primo and Epico. Yeah, there you go. I really think, I've always believed that if they finally give Los Matadores a run with this, then not only, like I said, could you get a heel turn between them, or with them, after they win, but you could also have them unmask and reveal themselves, like I said, like I was trying to say, to everyone that's pretty much known it already, as being Primo and Epico, and there you go. You can run with those guys, Primo and Epico as the tag team champions again, and probably try to fix what you've broke the last time you had those two as champions. I think storyline-wise that'd be great, because you can maybe have them come out and kind of do a work shoot, if you will, and say, hey, you know, because the WWE never believed in us, they had us dress up like this, so we never believed in us, so we basically had to dress up like this to finally get attention. And our plan all the time was when we got these belts back, we'd go back to being ourselves. So I would like to see that. That to me would be worth it in the end. That to me would be worth letting Los Matadores finally get these tag team belts. I really do. Now you might say, well, it's not the first time they've been champions. That's true. That is true. But it would be the first time as Los Matadores. But then again, you could use that situation from a story perspective to have them go heel, have them unmask, reveal who they are, and say, hey, it was the only way we could get back our tag team titles. And then you have the Lucha Dragons of Sin Cara, the WWE Sin Cara, and Carlistro. How do you not deny these guys a shot? I mean, you do have the crowd getting behind them. There's no doubt about that. I mean, the crowd are basically they're very interactive with the crowd. I mean, they do the lucha, and they love it. They really do. The crowd loves it. So how do you go in that? So how do you mess that up? You don't. You don't mess it up. Unless you don't ever give these guys a shot at being the champions. And I think, seeing as though this is SummerSlam, and you're going to do a title change, like I said, you could either give it back to New Day, or you could go and give it to either Matadores, where they could do what I've mentioned after they became champions, or after they become champions, or you could give a first run with these belts to the Lucha Dragons, who fans are behind. I really think that could work. And in a sense, if you're someone like Triple H, and you want to definitely make up for the fact that you screwed up on the original Sin Cara, Mystical, or Mythicus, whatever he calls himself in AAA, and you know, you want to basically make up for it with Hunico being your Sin Cara. You know, with Hunico being your Sin Cara, then this is the best way to do it, in my opinion. So to me, it's kind of up in the air as far as this match goes, but like I said, if it's SummerSlam and you're planning to do a title change, you can either give it back to New Day, or you can give it to either the Dragons or the Matadores. That's just my opinion. Then next up we have Bray Wyatt, the Wyatt family, or 2/3 of the Wyatt family, against 2/3 of what was the Shield, in Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper against Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. Now, a lot of people are speculating on this match, whether or not Ambrose or Reigns might turn on each other and go heel. That's a huge speculation. We don't really know yet. You know, that just might be thrown out there by some people that want to see it happen. But we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, I don't think, honestly... Yeah, this is going to probably be in a couple of parts, so I apologize. I don't think, honestly, they're going to turn Ambrose heel, because he still gets a huge reaction. In fact, he's one of those people that the fans hope WWE finally just says, hey, this guy's got a fan base behind him. He's like the next, people are comparing him as being like the next Austin, possibly the next Piper. Let's go with him. Let's see what happens. So, to me, I don't think they're going to do that. If they do a heel turn, it's got to be Reigns, because obviously they've blew the load on him and missed, if you will. Sorry the way I interpreted that, but they basically blew the load on him and they missed. So, if I'm WWE, if I'm going to do a heel turn as being speculated and rumored, I got to go with Reigns. I got to go with Reigns. But then, even with that, the question is, who goes over in this matchup? Well, if you go with a heel turn and it's Reigns, then it's definitely the Wyatt family that goes over. If you don't do no heel turn, then you go with Ambrose and Reigns going over the Wyatt family. So that's how I see that turning out as far as that tag team match is concerned. Then we get Ryback, Big Show, and Miz for the Intercontinental Championship in a triple threat match. Now the question is, who goes over? Well, here's what really upsets fans. You could go to, you obviously have, if you're going to do a title change, the only obvious option is The Miz. You got to go with Miz because he's the only other option. If you go with the Big Show, it's like, why? Why are you constantly going with a guy that, let's not kid ourselves, we know that at SummerSlam he's going to get a lot of please retire chants. Please retire chants. We know that's going to happen. You know, we know Ryback might get a mostly positive but somewhat negative mixed reaction. Miz, on the other hand, will probably get booed out of the building. I'm not really sure. Maybe not. He might get a mixed reaction because this somewhat, you kind of see that ever since Piper passed, maybe they're kind of wavering. Do we turn him heel? Do we keep him heel? Do we turn him face? Do we go in between with him? You know, they don't really know. But again, if you're going to do a title change, with all due respect to Big Show, to Paul White, you got to go with Miz. Miz right now has a little bit of momentum. He's got the Miz TV. He does have the movies that he's doing. And if you really want to show that, hey, we're going to get behind this guy again, even on the mid-card level or up a mid-card level, then you go with him winning the Intercontinental Championship. You do that. However, again, this is one of those matches that's a toss-up because, yes, Ryback was out with an injury with a staph infection, but if they're still behind Ryback, and obviously he does get a decent pop reaction, then you got to keep the belt on Ryback. So again, it's a toss-up for WWE. If they go with Big Show winning this, it's going to be like, well, what's the point of him having the championship? It's going to become meaningless. You want to elevate it, you want to keep it on somebody that's willing to go out there and probably do what John Cena does at times, and that's defend the belt every week. You go with someone like Ryback. You know, it's just obvious to me. That's all it is. So, again, it's a toss-up. And like I said, in my opinion, with all due respect to Big Show, the most logical choice to win this, if the title change happens, is Miz. And that's a fact. That's a fact. Then we get Randy Orton versus Sheamus. Everybody pretty much knew this match was going to happen. This is all part of building the rivalry still. And I'm probably going to be in the minority here, but I'm one of those guys that when I see them compete against each other on a pay-per-view, or if they're given time on a Raw or even a SmackDown to compete against each other, they do have decent matches. Let's not kid ourselves. They do. They have decent matches that actually get a positive reaction from people. But now the question is, who goes over here? Well, with the rumor that Sheamus may cash in later that night, you got to go with Randy Orton. You got to basically do what you did at WrestleMania. You got to have Randy go over like he did on Seth Rollins, and then towards the end of the WWE Championship match, have Sheamus maybe cash in. But I'll talk about that in a little bit. But despite that, you know, I think you got to go, if you don't have a cash in, then yeah, you got to go with Sheamus to try to rebuild that momentum, show that he is a threat, and that he is the kind of guy that's going to cash in any time. But then again, on the other hand, if you want to really keep the momentum going with Randy and make him maybe a viable contender again for the WWE title, possibly to the point that if Sheamus does cash in, you got a program there all set and rating, then you got to go with Randy. It's one of those toss-ups. It's one of those toss-ups right now. But if there's a cash-in, you got to go with Randy. If there's no cash-in, you go with Sheamus. And then speaking of cash-in, speaking of championships, we have John Cena and Seth Rollins. This is not so easy, is it? Seth Rollins, John Cena, title for title, winner take all. And a lot of people pretty much knew we were going to get this match the night after Battleground. We knew we were going to get this. Now the sources and the rumors going around is that this is going to be a program that probably might be dragged out for a little longer. So that puts up in the air, and that's only according to rumors and sources, that this is a program that's going to be drug out for as long as it's going to be. You know, which means it could be dragged out for another couple of months. You know, maybe up to Mania, we're not really sure. You see, obviously what it sounds like, according to several reports and rumors, is they want to try to take this situation between Cena and Rollins and cash in or not by Sheamus and try to build it into the next maybe rivalry that rivals those of the Ruthless Aggression and Attitude Era. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. So that's a possibility, but again, that's just a rumor. That's just a rumor going around. So the question is, though, who is going to be who are they going to get behind? Well, a lot of people have said that a lot of people have feared and said and speculated that since Rollins accidentally cracked and broke Cena's nose and has gloated about it in storyline, but accidentally did it in the match, probably unintentionally, that pretty much blew any chance Rollins has of keeping this belt. And if history is true, that usually would be the case for someone that screws up. I mean, basically, he injured the nose of the face that runs the place. Pretty much of the Fort Knox of the WWE. Their money bin, if you will. He pretty much damaged it. And a lot of people fear, that do like Seth Rollins, that do get behind Seth Rollins, are fearing that that's it for him. That this is gone, and even in his rematch he's not going to get it back. That's it, he's through. I wouldn't necessarily say that. I wouldn't necessarily say that. I mean, if you take a look at Cena's promo on Raw this past Monday night, he's basically indicating to Rollins, look, what Triple H is doing with you is the same thing Ric Flair did with him. He's passing a legacy on to you so that that legacy can continue on for the next 10, 20, 30 years and not be tarnished. He's trying to give you the chance to make that legacy of his mean more, mean something. So he's basically, what Cena says is he's trying to build you into the next game, into the next cerebral assassin by passing this legacy on to you. But if you fail on Sunday, it's going to mean nothing, and it's going to haunt you and Triple H for the rest of his life, because it's going to haunt you that you failed to achieve what he expected of you, and it's going to haunt him because he's going to realize he made a mistake in anointing you as the future of the company, as the one to carry his legacy. So, so you got that there. And again, like I said, when he accidentally, unintentionally injured Cena, a lot of people pretty much felt that that's it for him, and then there goes everything down the toilet. But then again, and like I said, history has proven that that could happen. But like I was trying to say, when Cena did that promo, he's basically not only, storyline-wise trying to tell it to Seth Rollins, but he's trying to tell the crowd out here watching in that arena in Minneapolis this past Monday, as well as